Straight ahead on WBKB, a recent cyber attack could lead to higher gas prices.
Plus, an Alpena woman arrested for home invasion and local students recognized in a statewide competition.
You're watching Thunder Bay News Network. WBKB News at 6 starts now.
This is WBKB News at 6. An in-depth look at news, weather, and sports. From hard-hitting news stories to local events, we're there with coverage you can count on. You're watching WBKB News at 6.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Tyler Cruz.
And I'm Sherry Stewart. A cyber gang is suspected of causing the ransomware attack on one of the nation's largest pipelines.
The Colonial Pipeline shutdown is now in its third day, and the company is scrambling to get service returned to normal before gas prices rise. Natalie Brand reports from Capitol Hill.
The FBI and Homeland Security officials have confirmed a group of hackers known as DarkSide was responsible for the ransomware attack impacting Georgia-based Colonial Pipeline.
It's a ransomware as a service variant, where criminal affiliates conduct attacks and then share the proceeds with the ransomware developers.
The breach impacted more than 5,000 miles of pipeline that carries roughly 45% of gas and other fuel consumed on the East Coast. President Biden was asked Monday whether he believes Russia is involved.
So far, there is no evidence based on from our intelligence people that Russia is involved, although there is evidence that the actors' ransomware is in Russia.
Analysts say gasoline prices are unlikely to be affected if the pipeline returns to normal in the next few days. But the administration is looking at federal options for addressing possible supply shortfalls if they develop.
Right now, there are no supply disruptions, and the Department of Energy's information agency, the EIA, is doing the analysis right now about potential supply disruptions.
The attack also highlights the increasing threat of cyber attacks to the nation's infrastructure.
Ransomware is a national security threat.
Former DHS head of cyber and infrastructure security, Chris Krebs, says the tactics used during the Colonial Pipeline attack indicate veteran cyber criminals.
I don't think we've done enough of is signal very clearly to the nations like Russia that harbor these criminals and tell them that this will not stand any longer.
Meanwhile, Colonial Pipeline says it's in the process of restoring some of its IT systems and hopes to substantially restore service by the end of the week. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Homeland Security is currently urging private companies to secure their systems. Detroit Police Chief James Craig says he will retire June 1st.
Reports surfaced over the weekend that Craig was stepping down and possibly considering a run for governor. At a press conference Monday, Chief Craig, a Republican, said he has not yet made a decision, but was not ruling out the possibility either.
Since the story broke, I have gotten countless calls, text messages, Facebook shots, emails from people across this great state, Democrats and Republicans, who said they want me to seek office. I have not made that decision.
Craig has served as the Detroit Chief of Police for the past 8 years. The native Detroiter has served 44 years in law enforcement. He's worked for departments in Los Angeles, Portland, Maine, and Cincinnati, Ohio.
Now here's meteorologist Ellie Morrison with a first check of the weather. Ellie, it was pretty nice today.
Tyler, we saw a mix of sun and clouds, but there have also been a few isolated showers, and most of those south of Alpena. We can see those mostly now south of Austin to Alcona and Iosco counties. That's where we have a few isolated showers drifting off towards the southeast. Temperatures this evening, another hard freeze on the way, especially for those areas away from the Lake Huron shoreline. Temperatures will be falling into the middle 40s this evening, and then after midnight, falling into the middle 30s. During the early morning, we'll be heading into the lower 30s, some of our interior areas going below freezing again. Morning temperatures tomorrow climbing to the lower 40s. We'll be heading up to afternoon highs near 50 or the lower 50s. Beginning on Wednesday, it's going to get notably warmer. I'll let you know just how warm it's going to get for the middle and end of the week coming up later in the newscast.
Thank you for that, Ellie. We'll see you in just a little bit. Police arrested an Alpena woman and 2 others for breaking and entering. 19-year-old Cheyenne Marie Vilna from Alpena broke into a home where she was once a tenant. The homeowner was in the process of renovating and noticed a broken screen and his tools missing. An investigation led to the arrest of Vilna and 2 other people. The other 2 were cited and are awaiting arraignment. Vilna faces home invasion charges and destruction of property. Her next court date is May 11th.
If your finances have taken a hit from the pandemic, you may qualify for assistance from the Federal Communications Commission. The FCC's Emergency Broadband Benefit Program allows recipients to receive discounts on their broadband internet service. It's intended to help families stay connected by making internet bills more affordable during the pandemic. Eligibility requirements are on our website, WBKB11.com, along with a link to the program's webpage. Applications open this Wednesday, May 12th.
Students in Alpena Community College's Machine and Welding program won a statewide competition. WBKB's Stephanie Minichi has more on their win despite the challenges they faced.
The Skills USA statewide competition was held virtually this year. Instructor Andrew Pads says students participated in 3 different competitions, but not without a challenge.
The biggest challenge really was just time. We were new to the competition in general, all the COVID interruptions and stoppages, and just getting everybody together, especially the team competitions, was probably the more difficult part.
Gold medal winner Taylor Murray wasn't sure what to expect as a woman in a male-dominated program.
It's intimidating, actually, for me personally, but overall, all the guys in the class are super helpful. They help you with anything you need, and they push you to do better.
Another gold medal winner, Ben Schrader, explains what he feels helped their win.
Yeah, I think everyone getting together, kind of sharing ideas. I think that was a big part of everything.
Pat says they won 8 gold medals, 2 silver medals, and a Statesman Award. CNC technician winner Peter Huzenga credits the program for his new job at Magnaloy Coupling.
I think that my schooling and training helped get the job there, and also Andrew, he helped me get, my foot in the door.
The winners of the gold medal will move on and represent the state at the national level in June. In Alpena, Stephanie Minichi, WBKB News.
Thanks for that, Stephanie, and great job to the students, huh?
That was awesome.
Very nice. Well, the pandemic caused a lot of summer events to cancel their annual plans in 2020.
Yeah, but this summer, many of them are making their way back, including the boat races along Grand Lake. This was the first Fireside 500 race on Grand Lake in 2019, where racers used stock outboard boats that can travel up to 70 miles an hour. Because of the pandemic, the race was canceled last year, but Tapa, Michigan says they're excited to get back in the Fireside in this year and hopefully for years to come.
Megan is excited. I think the local community really enjoyed it. We definitely missed it. The Fireside Inn is such a great venue to have it at.
Racing will take place on June 5th and 6th. Fairbairn says the event will still look different than it did pre-pandemic. She says they will release their safety guidelines for fans at the Fireside Inn a few weeks before the race. Aside from COVID changes, racers will be maneuvering their stock outboards around a different course this year.
I know we have a longer marathon course as well that we are unveiling this year, which a lot of us are very excited about. We wanted to do something a little bit bigger. The DNR approved it. It's definitely a bigger course with right and left hand turns. It goes around some of the outlying islands and Grand Lakes.
And I'm excited for that, Sherry. Those boats are about 10 feet long, but they can go wicked fast.
I know. Where do we sign up?
Right. There's more news ahead for you here on WBKB. Find out more on Alpena's water dispute on Monday with the mayor, and meteorologist Ellie Morrison has your 7-day forecast next.
Monday, a possibility of scattered showers with highs in the lower 60s. And today's photo was sent in by Mary Leitner. She says it's a great time to get out in the woods and look at all of the beautiful wildflowers like this trout lily. These pretty yellow flowers are blooming. She lives in a wooded area and sees these spectacular plants right outside the door. Thank you, Mary, for sending us this photo. And if you have a photo such as nature shots, pics with friends, or interesting sights you see that you'd like to send us, email it along with a short description to news@wbkb11.com.
That's a beauty.
That is beautiful. I love watching everything come to life in spring.
Very much so.
Coming up on WBKB News, don't miss Mayor Matt Walagora and Jake Vanderbrook will have the latest in sports. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. On today's Monday with the mayor, Matt Walagora sits down with WBKB's Tiffany Maddox to explain the city's water litigation.
Thanks for joining us again for another Monday with the Mayor. I am here with City of Alpena Mayor Matt Walagora. So we're talking about water litigation. Recently, the Township of Alpena, they had a appeal denied regarding a dispute with the city. Can you kind of tell us about how that all started?
It dates back quite some time. So the dispute started with rates. It was basically based on rates, and then it escalated into a few different complex topics on a court dispute, like they normally would, I suppose, with any topic. After going through a little bit of the court system here, and over the course of many years, we've gotten to a point where we're actually sitting down with them and having productive dialogue. And so, and we put that out just briefly in the media a few months ago. So the township was denied at the higher court level their appeals process, and so that sent it back down to the more localized court system that we started with in the first place. So unfortunately, if that occurs, and it would be very unfortunate, because it would really be basically just dating ourselves back several years and sort of starting over. And so to avoid that, what has now become what we feel is our best option is to proceed with the authority. As simple as it sounds, it's still very complex, and so every community is a little bit.
Thanks, Tiffany. You can catch our Monday with the Mayor segments every other Monday during our 6 p.m. newscasts. Sports is coming up next, but first, Jake Vanderbrook is here with a preview. Jake, what do you got for us today?
Hey, Tyler, next in sports, we have your extra innings top plays. You don't want to miss that. Plus, a former CMU offensive lineman has found a new home. More on that story when WBKB News at 6 returns.
That's all we have for you this evening.
You can read more about our broadcast stories and get the scoop on other news items online.
Just visit WBKB11.com for sports, weather, and news updates anytime, day or night.
And check us out on our Facebook page and Twitter handle at WBKB11.
Be sure to catch us back here tonight at 11 with Stephanie Manici. Have a great evening.
Where?